Hello, are you thinking of moving to Lisbon? Do you want to know if Sant Antonio is the right neighborhood for you? You want to also know everything there is to know about this neighborhood. Stay tuned, we have a lot of valuable information to share with you. Let's do it. So let's start with location. Where is Sant Antonio? It's basically right in the middle of central Lisbon. Really good location, and therefore it's no surprise that it's one of the most valued neighborhoods in Lisbon. So we have to start with Avenida Liberdade, which is an iconic area of Lisbon. And then here you have west of Liberdade and east of Liberdade. And you actually, when we get to pricing, something to keep in mind, one side, the west side is actually quite more appreciated than the east side, but it's developing quite rapidly as well. For transportation, you have the station of Marquês de Pombal, you also have Picoas, and down here just off there's Avenida Station as well. So really well catered by public transit. And a few things to think, parks are such a big part of Lisbon. And when you live in Sant Antonio, you have so much to choose from. Starting with this massive one, it was the Parque Eduardo 7, just north of it. Right? And here, just a fun point, this is, it's called Club 7. It's a great private club for like tennis players, paddle, family, swimming pool, everything right here in the park. And then you have Jardim das Amoreiras, which is one of the most charming gardens in the city, in my opinion, with the old mulberry trees. Must check it out. The Botanical Garden, which is part of the University of Lisbon, worth visiting when you're here. There's one that you can actually not see, which is the Praça da Alegria, which translates to Happiness Square. So charming with the water fountain. And something that for me is very close to my heart, that square, is in June when Lisbon celebrates Sant Antonio. That's where I go to. A little more quieter, a little more quaint, a little more family than going to Alfama. I think I'm getting a little too old for that, but again, if you haven't done it, you need to do Alfama once. There's another little one that you cannot see here that will offer great views from Lisbon, which is the Torel Garden. But one thing to mention here, the moment you pass Liberdade to this side, you're going uphill. So you're looking at this as flat. Think of great views from here because it's quite a steep incline. And same goes to this side as well. Liberdade is in the kind of the center, and it's a gradual steep. When you go to the neighborhoods around, you're usually going up. Usually no, you are going up. So this is just some fun things about, transportation, parks, accessibility. As far as neighborhood being so centered, it has its advantages. You're just basically, north of Príncipe Real and Santos, just a bit east of Estrela. You have Campo de Ourique not far from it, Avenidas Novas right over here, and the new and up-and-coming area of Arroios just step away, right? And from down the Liberdade, you can get to the whole of the southern part, the old city, where most of the tourist attractions are. Right? So really, really good location in Sant Antonio, and a few things to explain why the real estate tend to be one of the most expensive in Lisbon. It really has to do with location first. It is right by Avenida Liberdade, which is the Lisbon version of the Champs-Élysées. It takes a bit of Príncipe Real, which is one of the most appreciated areas. And again, you have a bit of this pocket over here of Amoreiras that is actually highly, highly desirable by families, right? Just a bit of location there. Let's move forward from that. So let's talk about who is moving to Lisbon and where are they moving to. We're gonna start with location, right? Sant Antonio being the favorite of the expat, taking about 14%. Right next to it on number 2 is Arroios. Here it is showing as 14%, but we round it to the next. There's a slight variance between the two. I have been having a problem to say the word variance. I need to check that, make sure I'm saying it right. 13% in Estrela, which is a classic, always been popular, and followed by all of this that we're gonna be working towards giving you all the details you're needing, each neighborhood by neighborhood. So if you're really interested about learning everything there's to know about those areas, make sure to subscribe and click the bell button so you get notified when those videos are coming. We also are going to be doing some walk-in tours moving forward to actually give you a real idea what it's like to walk in this neighborhood. And don't forget to check the stuff that we have already done. We've done some beautiful videos on Sant Antonio and Estrela, in most of the iconic neighborhoods of Lisbon. So check that out, all right? So again, number one. So let's talk about number one and what the prices are and some more fun facts coming up within this neighborhood. So now I'll be sharing with you some basic information on price per square feet and also to prepare to what's coming on the next slide, right? The discrepancy between lower end and high end and how everything kind of it's together within the same area, different pockets, different ages. There's really something for everybody, right? When we look here at asking average price per square meter, goes anywhere from 3,800 to almost 4,000 a square meter. And again, huge difference in areas, in style of apartments, penthouses, simple old buildings. It's really important to have good representation when we get to actually to find something that you love, where the pricing fits within the property that you're looking at. And these are actually the sold prices within the used market, anywhere from 3,300 to just 10,200. And you see here, obviously, right, there's a bit of a change. And clients ask a lot, oh, how much cheaper can we get this for? It really depends. For Sant Antonio, the market gap for the year, for the last 12 months that we've looked into, it's of about 21%. The market gap is the average asking price in the area to the actually average sold price within the area. So 20% is huge, but a lot of things are out of price. A lot of things are overpriced and not moving. The properties that actually sold really did see a reduction in price of about 6%. When my clients ask me about what is the price, we really need to dig into it to find out, is this well priced? Is this overpriced? This is what it's worth. So having, again, somebody who's transparent, who discloses everything to you, helping you make this decision, extremely important. Moving on to new. Anywhere here we've seen to 6,000 to 13,600 with the sold prices, again, between 3,800 and 13,000. Here you see quite a bit jump here. It could be that there's just a project with new smaller apartments being sold, something like executive flats. I would expect something like that because 4,000 a square meter has to be something very specific within the neighborhood. But again, this is just to give you a bit of a great idea of price per square meters in the neighborhood, and also to share a bit of that information on how pricing works in Lisbon, with so many things completely overpriced and with the things that are priced well, selling much quicker. You really have to look deep into each property to know what the market value is. So moving forward here from that, we're gonna start with T1, so 1 bedrooms, sold average price. And when I do T1s, we also put in there studios, right? T1s and smaller. So average sale price here for the low 200s, all the way to about 750,000 for 1 bedrooms used, with price per square meters from the 4,300 on the lower end, all the way to 9,800 on the top end for used properties. And again, the way we get those prices is really the top is the top 5% average, the bottom's the same, and then we find a few brackets in between. And then looking at new inventory in Sant Antonio, prices here for T1s anywhere from 350 all the way to 600, with price per square meter starting at mid 6,000s to about 8,750. Again, Sant Antonio being one of the most appreciated neighborhoods, you can find prices higher than this if you're going for a penthouse. If you want the view, it's really, this is a guide to start you get in there and start understanding what the prices in Sant Antonio are. So moving over to our next slide, 2 bedrooms. Again, we're going here with average sold price of low 300s all the way to about 1.1 million, with price per square meter at about 4,500 on the lower end all the way to almost 10,000 on the top end. With new inventory, starting here for the T2s at 575, all the way to about $1,050,000. And the price per square meters between 6,000 and 10,400. So big spectrum both on the new and the used. There's something for everybody. Now let's get to who's investing in Lisbon. What are the nationalities that are taking over, that are taking the lead on real estate investment in Lisboa? And when I talk Lisbon, I really talk about central Lisbon, the areas that are actually of interest to expats. It encompasses most of proper Lisbon, just with some of the neighborhoods that are fairly new, that are not incorporated into that. So we work with that, and we looked at how many proposals there have been to purchase real estate in those areas by expats. And on that, we'll just go back to where we were before. In USA in 2023, taking the lead at 15% of the expats buying in Lisbon, followed again by the French. The French have been buying in Portugal and in Lisbon for a long time. They're still very strong. They love it here. USA taking the lead. That is something new. And I definitely see that as a trend. It will be taking the lead for a while. I don't see anybody taking the first spot anytime soon. And again, at 9%, we have the United Kingdom. And fourth, to no surprise, again, China. They've been investing for a while. And it's important to mention, these 2023, there was no more real estate investments leading to Golden Visa. So these are actually people investing in Lisbon, people that trust the market, people that want to move here, an investment. So great, very hot spot right now. Portugal as a whole, but Lisbon in specific. And again, to my great surprise, it's Italy on 5th place. And my joke, and you probably hear me say that, is that if even the Italians are coming, you know that's good. So let's go now. So moving on from that, let's talk about prices of 3-bedroom apartments that have been sold in Sant Antonio in the last 12 months. Again, those are average for last 12 months within the region. From the used ones, anywhere from 450,000 all the way to 2.1 million average. And the price per square meter of about 4,200 all the way to 10,200. And I'm glad I said square meter. I do know sometimes I say square feet, because I've worked in the Canadian real estate market, and I still do for almost 14 years. So very used to the square foot. So if I ever say that and you hear it, remember, in Europe, we do square meters, all right? And for new developments in Sant Antonio for 3 bedrooms, starting there at the low 900s, all the way to 2.1 million, with average price per square meter starting at low 7,000, all the way to almost 4,000 a square meter, 14,000 a square meter, all right? Again, those are going to be the super top end apartments, all the best finishes, probably with a view, likely a penthouse, which is something that we don't have a lot of in that area. Fun fact, very hard to get permits for penthouses in Lisbon, because the city hall, it's very strict on what you can build on top, because it's a beautiful city, and there's a reason why. They want to keep the tiles, the roofing tiles, as even as possible. So when you actually fly in or look the city from above, it still maintains that Lisbon charm, and you get to see the terracotta color throughout. Okay? Didn't know that many years ago, but I know it now. Hence the reason why it can be quite challenging to find some penthouses in some neighborhoods. Right, but moving on from that, let's look at how the market have performed in Sant Antonio over the years. And it's just a little bit of, just to see where it's going, and, is it a strong neighborhood to invest in? I still believe so, being so central, having so many iconic parks, avenues within the neighborhood, it will hold its value really well. Dotted line, it's asking price. Solid line, it's sold price. So here you have the transition here. Has keep on coming up, right? Difference here between ask and sold, but that's what I talk about. A lot of it, it's the price is just off, right? We know immediately when we look at a place, I'm like, okay. And the question is, do you actually want to sell, or you just put it out there in case somebody's, silly enough for not doing their diligence to make sure that they're paying the right price. And then you see here, COVID, a bit of a dip. It went right back up. Interest rate came up, sales went down, but that quickly recovered. With this area, with so many expats investing, a lot of people are not, they're selling everything in the UK, in US, Canada, everywhere they're coming from, they're selling everything, and they're usually many times buying cash when they get here. So the interest rate didn't affect very much the market in certain neighborhoods of Lisbon, right? But just a bit of information for you to understand Sant Antonio market historically. Then we go from there, we'll talk a bit about rent. And I always bring that up because many clients that will help, they do look for us to rent first as they're deciding where to live. So we're going to be talking about median prices for 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and therefore. But before we do that, I'd like to share with you that we're here sharing this information with you because we do believe in transparency, right? And my team and I, we help people like you every day. And this is not about just a move. It's about making all the right moves to get you from where you are right now to exactly where you want to be in the future. So you know where to find us. If you're ready to talk, there's a link on the description. Schedule a Zoom call with us so we can further discuss how you'll help you on this journey. But back to apartments. So go in here for rentals. Discrepancy there between, almost triple between the cheapest to the most expensive. That's when I mentioned, there's that line on Avenida Liberdade where you have east of that and west of that. East of that is still very up and coming, and it does have some very small 1-bedroom apartments that do need some care, right? But they're a good location. So if you're really trying to, you just want a little place to arrive, to adjust, you can find 1 bedrooms for as low as 920 average, all the way to about 2,700. Then we'll move here. We'll talk about 2 bedrooms, same story, 1,100 all the way to 3,000. So triple, same region, same typology of 2 bedrooms. And then just another fun fact here. Who are the nationalities investing the most per square meter in Lisbon? And to my surprise, we were actually the Irish. On the top end market, they're spending about 11,900 average per square meter, followed by the Chinese and the Polish at about 11,500 per square meter. So again, no surprise, the Swiss with their taste for expensive things at about 10,000 a square meter. And Brazil and the UK, not surprised with this one, right? Brazilians, they have their, they want as many bathrooms as they possibly can. They want all the amenities. They have a style, right? And the British, again, with high standards, they want something that's a bit more luxe, taking 4th place. And the new players to Portugal, the USA, taking 5th place at 9,600 a square meter. Canadians, as a proud Canadian that I am, I put it here. You guys did not make it. I'm getting there. At 7,800 per square meter. A bit of disclosure as well as we just complete this. This is information that we work very hard to gather based on sale prices. We don't have the MLS in Portugal. So disclosure and transparency is not something that is used here with a lot of firms. So a lot of work and a lot of work goes into gathering this information and paying the right information collectors to gather this, to have a guide to guide our clients to make the right decision, right? So just to keep in mind that this is not MLS, this is not 100% of the sales. This is just a very big scope where all the top agencies put in that information through an institution, then gives us this information back in return so we can work with, right? And just to finish here, 3 bedrooms in Sant Antonio. If you're looking to rent, when you arrive, ranging there from 1,200 to about 4,800. If you're ready to talk, feel free to schedule a Zoom call with us. And don't forget, your new life starts now. Let us find your home for you.